Hey guys, David over at the Wholesalers Toolbox here with my buddy Matt Camp over at DealMachine. We're on today just real quick because DealMachine has a special announcement, a new feature that is amazing. It's super cool, and it's in this AI universe that we're living in now. Matt is here to talk to us about a thing that they've integrated into DealMachine. It's called AI Vision, where it's actually looks at properties using AI to determine what's a distressed property. So it's like virtual driving for dollars on steroids, maybe, right?
Yeah.
So we want to get into it. Matt's going to explain it to us a little bit. So we're not going to go into like all the other features of DealMachine in depth like we usually do, but we're just going to talk about this one thing, this AI vision. And Matt, like fill us in. What is this, and how did you guys come up with this crazy thing?
Yeah, well, David, first off, thank you again. Always appreciate you having us on and sharing what's new. I mean, we're always on our end trying to push the envelope, trying to continue to innovate. I know last year around this time we launched that unlimited free skip tracing, the contact information inside DealMachine. This year we put out an AI powered dialer. So it had a dialer with Alma, our AI assistant, built into it to help you take notes and guide you in real time on the call and leave voicemails and things. So anything we do, where our goal is to help you guys do more off market deals, really help you get out there and, be able to use us as a lead gen and marketing tool to help you be a more successful investor and wholesaler, anybody who's, in that real estate world. And, on our end, as we innovate, we're always looking for ways to help you guys kind of identify those hidden deals that not everybody can easily find and easily know about. That was kind of the thought process behind creating this new, really, really exciting thing. Excited to show you guys exactly how it works here, David. So I'll try to share my screen here and actually walk it through with you too. But as we go through this again, the idea behind integrating the AI piece, that's something that we originally launched within our property data about a year and a half ago. And we'd seen so much exciting innovation within not just Alma, but like AI in general, to make this kind of natural language list building, this AI vision piece, even possible and even cheap enough that people could come in and find a lot of value in it, and good enough, like more effective enough to really build an awesome list. And so that's kind of, again, the background on what made the timing so great for this kind of thing. Inside DealMachine itself here, and let me kick over to the map here to show you guys. So again, we're a lead gen and marketing tool. So anything we do, it's about helping you build your list of leads, right? And then reach out to those leads. This piece you're looking at right here is the map view of DealMachine. So you're seeing the desktop version. Obviously, there's a mobile app too. On here, if you're familiar with DealMachine at all, you'll see some familiar things. The filters are similar. We're always adding new data points there too. Things like you've got, likely to move, empty nester, credit risk, all kinds of different new data points in here. At the bottom right here, you'll see the total property count in the viewing area. And that's really our standard list builder view that we've had for a couple of years now. Yeah. We're always adding more filters, but that kind of interface is somewhat similar. Now, the next level here, you notice this try AI vision builder right here. You pop that open, and this is where it gets really, really fun. This is something that I'm very curious what all your community is going to do with it, because there's literally, there's unlimited ways you could take this thing. We really see it as the future of list building. Like it's using AI, in addition to the property data, the contact data, the demographic data, like already that all together is kind of an unfair advantage in your market, right? But then now we're adding in like satellite imaging data. We're adding in street view imaging, like you said. And then Alma AI, the assistant, is built in here to detect anything visually. So you can come in here and be able to just create a list that is unique, that is niche, that is at scale, like instantly do that and build a list that no one else has, which, like you mentioned, virtual D4D, like that's the reason why that's ever helpful, is you can do this now using the power of AI at scale extremely quickly.
We're just scratching this, and this is amazing technology, but we're still in the infancy stages of this AI technology, right? And this is just going to get more advanced and more advanced. But for us right now, in 2024, going into 2025, this is state of the art kind of stuff, right? To be able to go in and build a list using AI and use, like you said, using satellite data and street view data and all these things coming together, throwing them in an AI model and go, this is what I'm looking for.
Yep. Yep. And so again, it's unlimited the number of ways you could take this. You can come in here and start typing. We do have some preset prompts down there that we can rotate in and out for you. The more clear and specific that you can get with your prompting, the better. Like that's just a rule for AI in general, is if you're able to be clear and specific and give guidelines to it, that really, really helps. But theoretically, I mean, you could come in here and say, properties that have a separate garage, properties that have a corner lot, properties that, is a detached structure, properties that have really overgrown grass, or a car broken down in the front, like all these really specific focused things. A good example of this would be the distressed properties option. If you click on that, it will auto fill in our suggested prompt for that specific feature, which says use all of this data, use all the property data, the demographic data, the contact data, and the visual data, and identify properties that show visible signs of distress. Using this, look for indicators like, neglected landscaping, structural damage, broken roofs, boarded up windows, or general disrepair. So this is what I mean here, is kind of defining it a little bit. And then again, as you go through this, any guidelines like properties don't need to show all listed examples, but should receive a high score if any of these signs are present. Those are the guidelines we're talking about here, just to make it so that you kind of give it that general structure on how to build that list. Right. So that's kind of step one, is putting in that prompt, whether it be one of our preset prompts, whether it be you typing it in and saying, show me ones with a detached garage in bad shape. You can just keep adding and typing in more options here, anything you can think of there. But that prompt is kind of the first step to this. The second piece would then be, okay, great. What kind of matching score do you want here? How strict do you want this criteria, or how generally show me these, lightly distressed houses versus, it's got to fit all of this criteria. And this little gear here right there, David, if you can see it, if you click on that, it'll pop open a matching score. So this is a scale where you can say, it's got to fit every word that I'm putting in the box is 100, or generally fit my criteria. So that's going to help you as well in really coming in and being able to say, I'm looking for a very specific strategic focus list, or generally properties that fit this overall criteria of what I'm doing here. Right. And then once you have all that dialed in, the third thing I would say is consider your analysis area, and particularly when it comes to budgeting, because using AI isn't free for all the prompting. It's very low cost, like I mentioned, but per property that you're analyzing, you're spending 2 cents. So you just want to make sure that, hey, you could come in, back up and analyze, 10,000 properties if you have the budget to. But what I'd recommend is, hey, you know what, maybe consider using things like our drawing tool. Come in here and say, let me click on my top left corner, and I only want to analyze properties here, kind of like east downtown area right here. So now I'm down to 214 properties I'm analyzing. Or, maybe you could even throw a few filters on there. Say, hey, I only want to look at single families that are, that haven't sold in a while.
I want to bring that. Yeah. I'm glad you touched on that, because I wanted to bring it up. I was waiting for you to be done so I could bring it up.
Do it.
But when we talk to people about virtual driving for dollars, right? And, going on, because you guys have that built into in DealMachine, where you can go on virtual drive for dollars. But the question that inevitably comes up with somebody when they're talking about virtual driving for dollars is they say, well, the street view photo might be older. 2 years old or a year old, right? Yep. How do I know the property is still vacant? So with this technology, and what I think can be done with it, you confirm if it can be done with it. If I went in and I took a little city or a zip code or whatever, and I did sale date, and I said, I'd want something that has got the same owner that it's had for 10 years. Right? And it hasn't sold. Right? And then I also add on to that vacant properties. Right? The houses that the post office thinks are vacant.
Yep.
And then go in and ask, on top of that, ask AI to show me all the ones that appear to be distressed and meet all that criteria. Right? Then you're coming up with like an incredible list, right? So, like if Street View showed it as distressed, it hasn't sold since that picture was taken. You're also having AI look at the roofs and look at the picture of the house and the windows and does it have tall grass and all these things? And you're like coming up with like an incredible list now, like right there, 24 properties that meet that criteria.
So that would be, and this is right here. You're looking at, again, we're layering on your data points right here. Like you mentioned, that's a great point of like, hey, these photos, we want to make sure they're even if it's an older photo, that we are very confident in the current condition of that property. And the best way to do that is if a property, even if it's an older photo, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old or more, which most major markets, Google drives your streets more than you would think. It's within the last 2 years are most neighborhoods in major markets like that. But even if you have an older photo, what I always recommend filtering is saying, hey, show me properties that haven't sold for at least 10 or 15 years. Yeah. And so that way we know that when that photo was taken, it's still the same owner. So it's highly likely not that in much too of a different shape than it was when that photo was taken. So especially when you're looking at signs of distress, I would highly, highly recommend that. Some things it won't matter as much. Like if you say, show me corner lots or show me this or that, that's, a structural thing, then that won't matter as much. But, if it's signs of distress, I'd say make sure to put in that, go to more, and then filter your last sale date right there. And, when you've got all this lined up right here, now I've got 24 properties to analyze. It's only cost me 48 cents.
Right. That's what I was going to say. So you narrow it down. DealMachine probably doesn't like this because they won't make a bunch of money on it.
You got a budget for this thing. You're not making much margin.
But for 48 cents to verify, to add another layer of verification on that these properties appear to be distressed, right? Because you can pull a vacant list. I've done it like years ago before DealMachine. I did a vacant list and I would go drive by them and they weren't always vacant and they weren't always distressed, right? But now you can take that list and add layers, right? Vacant, owned for a long time, distressed, via AI is confirming it. And for 48 cents go, this is a hell of a list. This is like these 24 properties there's a good chance they're ugly.
Well, here's what you do here is you confirm that build. And I did 63109. I could have done a much broader area, but I just did one particular zip code in St. Louis. Now what it's going to do here, it might take a few minutes. It'll tell you if estimated time frame, especially for a bigger list. It's going to start to show you properties that pass and fail your criteria. So it'll start loading this up. Here you go. Not a match. It'll pop that up. Okay. Not a match. You have one that has passed. There you go. One property that is distressed out of those 24 that you just analyzed. That's a great example. Very focused niche list here, but you just ran an entire analysis in that second instead of spending
if you do, so imagine that, everybody. Like if you do, I always talk about different areas of Metro Detroit because that's where I've done most of my wholesaling. But if you picked a small city in Metro Detroit and went ahead and picked your criteria, vacant properties owned for 10 years, use the AI and say distress and come up with a list, originally 700, but after you narrow it down, maybe 30 or something, it's so affordable to then go into the mail center and send postcards and start marketing to a list that was very refined, I guess. Go into, if you can, Matt, go into Allen Park. That's the one I always use for an example. Because it's the very first city I started wholesaling in. So Allen Park, Michigan, right? You can go in and pull it up. 12 properties right there.
Well, they already fit all this other stuff. Yep. And then you could back it out too and say, okay, you know what? Let's just ignore the vacant piece. It's just single family that haven't sold in a while in Allen Park. And you know what? This will, you're going to analyze 3,600 properties, but you're going to know, and again, make sure to pay attention to the budgeting costs, but you're going to know right away, like, man, this is an awesome list that no one else has.
And this is a perfect example. Okay, so 3,627 properties. When I started, and I drove every street in Allen Park, Michigan, and it took me a week, right? Up and down every single street, and it took me a week to do it. So $72 is going to be cheaper than my gas.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. So
right, I mean, like it because I'm sure I filled up a few times doing it. So $72, and you can go in and say, okay, just give me a picture of every distressed house in Allen Park that's been owned over 10 years.
Exactly. There you go.
Or 14 years or more or whatever.
Yep. And the other piece that I know people use Alma for all the time already is deal analysis, right? Is going in there and saying, hey, is this a deal that's good for wholesaling, for example? So you can come in here, that prompt would say, okay, analyze the data provided to identify properties good for wholesaling. It defined in here as potential for making 20K on it, based on estimated repair cost, ARV, and potential to acquire the property below market value. So that's like being able to go in broadly and just immediately look at, again, at scale, take a few minutes and pull out a list of properties that are, hey, these are high priority because they fit all these other deal analysis parameters. And now I can get even more focused.
This
Yeah.
is just incredible.
Last thing. I love you showing this stuff off. Don't mean to run too long on you, man, but it's exciting stuff. I love just showing this. And the last thing that's really, especially if you either personally have done deals or you know of another property that is a deal that you're like, oh man, I wish I could do that exact deal right here. You can actually go in. There is a reverse engineering option in here. So if you jump in and go to attach example properties right here and choose any of, 123 Sesame Street or whatever here and say, oh, this is a property that I've done a deal with before, or that I've seen, know that it was a great deal in the past. You just type that in and you could say, hey, show me properties that fit this, that look just like this deal. It will go in, reverse engineer that deal, try to figure out, hey, why was that, what made that great property a great deal, and then build you a list that mirrors that deal. So that is pretty incredible as well.
That's incredible. Yeah. It's just another stellar feature that's going to help a lot of people, right? You guys just continue to make this thing amazing.
We're working on it, man. We love being able to kind of listen to you guys, hear what you have to say you need next, hear what you guys are looking for to be able to just continue to bring you more value, do more deals, and be successful yourself. We're a tool to make you more successful, but it takes you guys going out there and taking action on that stuff. We want to make you more efficient and effective, right? But you guys going on here, you're investing in yourself by watching this. You've got the Wholesalers Toolbox is an awesome tool to be able to come in and have guidance in all kinds of different ways. So we've got that link at the bottom right there. If you want to try out this brand new feature, it just went live. I know we literally just launched it November 25th here. So that's brand new, live. I'll share out and we'll do another video on another awesome new feature we're putting out there. But yeah, it's fun to team up with you, David, and get that out there and have your people use it first. So
yep, guys, under this video, there's a link that you can click, but it's DealMachine.com/toolbox and sign up, try it out. This thing's cool.
There we go. And I know if you're watching this around Black Friday, we've got an awesome Black Friday sale going on too. So check that out as well. That'll be on our site. But yeah, I appreciate you bringing me on, man. I always love showing the new stuff.
Love it, man. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Appreciate it.